Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. It is a cool day. We had rain this morning. It was raining this morning. Now it's kind of sun's come back out now. Cool day, probably. Maybe if it's 70, I'd be surprised. But not a bad day at all. So I made a comment in one video, and I really haven't done a video on the topic. So I wanted to address, I wanted to wait basically and see kind of everything that was going on first before I made a video on it. About the whole, with the hurricane, Houston, the flooding. And I know now the flooding is also back into Louisiana as well, okay? So first of all, let me put this out here real quick. Somebody had said in a comment, what if you had flooding like that where you are, you know, and you lost all your preps, okay? Well, first of all, that wouldn't happen because I live up in the hills, okay? If the flooding got that bad here, then we better be getting the ark ready because it would be, the water would be really, really high. But, you know, I picked my location where I live very strategically. So the first thing I would say to anybody is location, location, location. Assess where you live. What are the dangers that you could possibly face? You know, if you have levees and dams keeping the water away from you, you have the potential for, you know, catastrophic things to happen. Okay, so that being said, let's get into the whole thing with what is going on down there. I just actually had a friend of mine that lives 270 miles away from Houston, and he sent me, let me see if I can pull this up. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but let's see. Okay. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, but there's a picture that he took down where he lives outside of Dallas, where the gas prices have been jumped up to $4.99 a gallon. So it might as well say $5 a gallon of gas. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm hoping you can. But he sent that to me, and you know, talk about price gouging, which I just, you know, any kind of thing that they can make an excuse to raise the gas prices. We're going to get into Houston, but I want to talk about this real quick first. Anything that they can do to raise up the gas prices. I know the gas prices in town where I'm at have gone up, I think about 12 to 14 cents already. From yesterday to today, it went up another 8 cents a gallon. And so I had recently bought those 2 new gas cans. And so I just went down today and I filled them. Because I'm like, I'm not waiting for it to go any higher. So, but yeah, it's, you know, it's okay for the gas companies to gouge us. And I realize that some of the refineries are down. But all the refineries in the country are not down. And the gas that they have in the tanks already, they paid the old prices for, but yet they're going to jack up the prices to just kind of gouge people that much more, which I think is ridiculous, okay? But that they do it every time, and it happens all the time, and people complain, and nothing ever changes. So it is what it is. I mean, but for down there in Dallas to have the gas prices be $5 a gallon, just because of the fact that the refineries down there are down for right now is kind of crazy. So let's get into Houston. Okay, so we got catastrophic flooding. So a couple of things, and I made myself a little list here of things that we really need to think about now that this flooding has happened, okay? And that a lot of people have been misplaced and stuff like that. So let's talk about the spread of infectious disease. When you have a lot of people jammed together in a small area, you know, where they have the different places for their helping people out, you're going to be more susceptible to infectious diseases because everybody's right there. Not everybody's as clean as the next person. Some people don't wash like they should, and they don't wash their hands, and they're touching everything, and it's nasty. Okay, so you're definitely going to have the spread of infectious diseases. Mold is going to be like a really, really big problem because, you know, you got everything is underwater, and when that water does recede, there's going to be standing water still in places, and there's going to be issues with mold. Okay, Let's talk about lost meds. You had all these people that had to get out in a hurry, may not have their medications, and you know, having them people get access to their medications, it's got to be a logistical nightmare, to be honest with you. You know, because you have people that need to have something, and their biggest concern at that moment was getting out and staying alive. And now that they're out and they're alive, and now they don't have their medication, how are we going to get these people their medication? Okay. Next thing would be mosquitoes. You're talking about a lot of standing water all over the place, and mosquitoes love water, so you're looking at a lot of problems, you know, with that. Now let's talk about contaminated water. You have, you know, gas and chemicals and all kinds of stuff now going to be in that water. Feces, you know, backed up sewage, all kinds of crap in that water, and that's all over the place too. So you're having a lot of issues with that. And here's the other thing we got to think about too. Let's think about the pets. Let's think about the pets that people have left behind. And you know, I saw a video of a horse in a stable, and these guys had come in and they rescued that horse. The horse was up to chest deep water, you know, and they got the horse out of that pen, and so they rescued that horse. But what are you going to do other than that? At some point, that horse would be exhausted from standing all the time. Horses do lay down, you know, so thank goodness they got that horse out. But there's a lot of people's pets that got left in the homes that are just there, and that's, you know, that's tough. And so I know there's a lot of pet rescuing going on as well down there. So let's talk about preparedness with this, guys. I mean, you know, you really have to look at where you're at. You really have to look at your location, and this is the thing that kills me about the whole Houston situation. They knew for a week ahead of time that this storm was coming in. You knew a whole week, so you had a whole week's advance warning, okay? They did not do a mandatory evacuation. That goes on the mayor of Houston, in my opinion, because he did not make that call, and probably should have, knowing that it was going to be a very big hurricane that was coming through there. They probably didn't realize that it was going to be the magnitude of water and the flooding that happened. But still, you know, you live in a low-lying area. Somebody said to me that Houston was built on a swamp. So, you know, what do you think is going to happen? Okay. So you have those issues, and then, you know, you have all the levees, there's a lot of levees giving way. You know, they had to open up some dams because the water was too high. The water's got to go someplace. So you got a really, really bad situation. A lot of people have lost everything, okay? So again, I mean, when we moved up here, for me, everything was location, location, location. I looked at where I wanted to be, what I did not want to be near. You know, as far as I didn't want to be near any big chemical plants or, you know, any heavy-duty industry. You know, I didn't want to be in a low-lying area. I wanted to be in a higher elevation because I didn't want to have to worry about flooding. You know, we get a lot of rain, and we have the spring runoff. We have a lot of water that comes through, and it's gone within a couple of days, okay? But, you know, it's like if we had some serious, serious flooding, the whole valley would be flooded before we ever got to a point where we would be in any kind of danger. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about that at all because of where we're at. But so you have these people that are in an area that's like this. They were given a week's advance notice. So many people did absolutely nothing to prepare for this disaster that they knew was coming. I mean, if you have a week's notice, wouldn't you stock up on food and water? I mean, those are the basics, guys. You know, if you know you live in an area that's prone to flooding, you have to be prepared for that. You have to have stuff at a higher elevation. Even if you have, you know, buildings that you've built up higher, you know, so that they're up off the ground, you know, that can make all the difference in the world. You know, if there's 2 feet of standing water everywhere, or 3 feet, or 5 feet, but if your building is up higher, you're not going to have that issue. I mean, you have to build according to where you're at. That's what you really got to think about. And also to be able to handle the kind of winds and stuff like that that are going to be coming with these major, major storms. Because you know eventually you are going to get hit. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I know that the last one that came through there, I think they said it was in 2009. So yeah, it's been a little while. But the thing is, you got to learn from the past. You look what happened before. You follow that game plan. Now I got to say that the government has done a really good job coordinating stuff with FEMA. You know, with the rescue efforts. A lot of civilians are helping with the rescue efforts with boats, which is absolutely awesome. You know, that's great. Now, I've also seen some video of guys. It was a guy standing in a parking lot with a shotgun. He was ex-law enforcement, and he was not going to let looters go in and rob these stores. You know, so, you know, I saw there was a video on that as well. But, you know, you're going to have opportunists in any kind of crisis take advantage any way they can. That's just going to happen. I get it if they don't have food, but when they're stealing non-life-saving things, that's not forgivable in my opinion. I mean, if they're doing it, if they're going in to steal food because they don't have any food, that's one thing. I get that, okay, and I totally understand why they would go into whatever stores and do that to get food and water. But just to steal everything that's not nailed down, it's ridiculous. But it happens every single time. So, again, these are things to look at, guys. These are things to really get in your head, think about where you're at. This is what I want you to do. I want you to look at where you're at. What are the dangers in your area? Because everybody's different, you know. I mean, I'm in the Northeast. I'm in New York, okay? And I'm high elevation, so I'm not worried about flooding. Flooding is not even a concern of mine at all because, like I said, if the water got up this high, I better have the ark. That's how high up I am, okay? But the thing is, it's like what we got to worry about up here is major snowstorms coming. We did have, you know, a tornado warning here like a week ago, you know, and so, you know, those things are going to happen. You know, we're going to have some storms that come through that are going to knock the power out. They're going to do the different things. But, you know, if you are putting yourself in a situation where you're prepared for it as best that you possibly can, it's going to make life a lot easier. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people down there that were preppers that are having a much better time of it than the people that were not prepared. I mean, I really don't think I would want to be in a building with 3,000 to 4,000 other people, screaming kids, sick people, you know, people just doing nothing but complaining because poor them, okay? And I get it. I truly do. Don't get me wrong. It's a very frustrating situation and it's a very bad situation. But I don't want to have to rely on somebody else to take care of me. I want to take care of myself. So that's a lot of what prepping is all about, is being ready for whatever's coming. This is an event, guys, that in that area, it's an SHTF event for them, okay? It has changed everything. I mean, the one guy, I saw a video, you know, he didn't know if his dad had gotten out, and he said he'd lost everything. And they gave him one of those stat phones, and he talked to his father, and the guy was crying because his father was okay. I mean, that's the raw emotion of it. I mean, you know, and, you know, to put yourself in those people's shoes, it's got to be very difficult, and it would be very frustrating. It would be hard, but the thing is, you can help yourselves, and that's what I try to reiterate over and over again. Buying the legacy foods, long-term food storage. Okay, all you got to do is have water, heat it up, and you can eat that, and there's your meal. Okay, being prepared, having water on hand, having enough different types of food, you know. That's what it's really all about, is being as prepared as you possibly can be, and then you react to whatever, okay? And again, and I've said it earlier in the video, location. If you live on the coast, your chances of certain bad things happening are going to be greatly increased, okay? Most of the people in this country live on the coast. It's just the way it is, okay? And don't get me wrong, the ocean's beautiful. I've been to the Atlantic, you know, I've been to the Pacific. You know, they're beautiful to see. It's absolutely gorgeous to see. But the thing is, it's like you have to look at what dangers that are in that area. You have to look at what risks are in that area. And you have to plan accordingly, okay? That's very important. So anyway, you know, like I said, my heart goes out to the people in that area and what they're going through. It's a horrible experience. I hope that it wakes people up. I hope people look at it and say, okay, now I need to do something to help myself next time. unfortunately, most people will not do that, and I don't understand that at all. But now let's look at things something differently real quick. So we look at the Houston area and the coordinated effort for help, and you know, people are still suffering and they're having a lot of issues, and it's just a really, really bad thing. Let's put that on a nationwide scale, a nationwide event, and help is not coming. Nobody's coming to rescue you. You are on your own. How ready are you for that? That's what I want you guys to think about. How ready are you for that event? Okay, most people are not, guys, and that's the scary thing. That's the, to me, that's the frightening thing. Most people are not ready for anything, and they just won't do it. They just figure somebody's going to come in and save the day every time. Well, there's going to come a point, you know, where that's not going to happen. Okay, so anyway, listen, I'm going to get off this video. I wanted to talk about these issues, talk about some of the problems that are going to be going on down there now and moving forward. You know, you just had a chemical plant down there that had 2 explosions yesterday. So what chemicals are being leached out and what's going on with that? That's frightening as well. Okay, so contamination is going to be a huge thing. And but anyway, guys, stay safe. If you're down in that area, please just do the best you can. And I hope, you know, I know that there's already been over 30 people that have lost their lives, and I know that that number is going to rise, which is very, very sad, and you know, not a good thing at all. So anyway, remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. Here's a great example down there, what's going on in Houston right now. And remember, guys, it's STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to reach, whatever you're trying to do, you can reach them, you can do it if you just work at things methodically, okay? I hope everybody has a great day. I hope your week is going well. It's already Thursday. Can't believe it. The week is going by really, really fast. Tomorrow we're going to be doing canning, and I got some other stuff going on. I got, just give you a real quick thing. I'm going to be doing a product review for Banggood. They sent me 3 things out, and I'm going to be doing a product review on that soon, I promise. Legacy sent me out some more stuff, some more samples to try, so we're going to be definitely doing some more videos on the Legacy long-term food storage, which I think is a really good thing to have. Really, really good thing to have, because even with the flooding, those packages would be fine because they're contained, okay? So they wouldn't be damaged. So there's another good reason for having that Legacy food, okay? So anyway, guys, I will talk to you all later. There's a lot of stuff coming up, I promise. A lot of stuff coming up. But I wanted to wait and really do a thoughtful video on this whole situation down there. And, you know, let's stick with it, okay? I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.